like deer. There are times 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 like deer. I lose myself. I don't know who I am. I get caught up in the struggle.
Yeah, okay, that's enough. That's enough. Intro. Okay, cooking mediums. Mediums, what is mediums? Mediums is methods. Cooking mediums. Cooking methods is the same. Okay. What kind of cooking methods can you think of? Baking, here's a bunch of cooking methods. Cooking mediums. Ways to do things. Methods, way, W-A-Y. Ways to do things. Methods to do things. It's a medium. Same thing. Okay. Baking, barbecuing, grilling, pan frying. Shallow frying, shallow thinking, deep frying, deep thinking. Deep frying, well, deep thinking. You really think about something. Shallow frying, shallow thinking. You don't think much about it, you just do something. Stir frying, well, okay. Roasting, sauteing, searing. What is searing? Not the Sears Roebuck and Company. Nope, different one. Okay. Cooking mediums, cooking methods. Shijak, let's go. Okay, first one, the first common, very common, usually boiling. Okay, here we are. Boiling. Here we are. Boiling. Cooking ingredients in high temperature water or broth. Cooking ingredients, cooking food in high temperature water or broth. It's another moist heat. Okay, it's another moist heat method of cooking. Okay, boiling is heating the water or liquid to at least 212 degrees. 212 degrees Fahrenheit, that is. Food is completely submerged. Food is completely in the water, covered in water for heat distribution, for even heat distribution. However, as you know, maybe, overboiling ingredients, overboiling food, meat or vegetables from a cold temperature will cause loss of food nutrients. Okay. You don't get as much vitamins, don't get much nutrients if you overboil your food. This is why, here the last sentence here, this is why there is not as much taste after boiling food. Boiling anything, you lose a lot of the food taste. Okay, because all the nutrients, all the vitamins are lost. Okay, so you boil too much, you lose your taste, the food taste. down in the green. Okay, at the bottom, down at the green. Quick boil green vegetables to keep their nutrients. Any vegetable that you want to cook, well, don't cook them too long. Just a quick boil, okay? Especially broccoli, especially beans, green beans, okay? Just only boil a few moments, a few minutes, okay? I like to eat beef and broccoli. I put the broccoli in after the beef is cooked. The broccoli only cooks for a short time. You finish and then the broccoli is still crunchy, okay, and gets all that nutrients and vitamins, okay? Got it? Boiling. Okay, next. Simmering. Simmering. What is simmering? Simmering is done at a temperature between boiling and poaching. Poaching? What's poaching? That's next. Simmering is done about 205 degrees. Okay, simmering occurs between about 185 and 205 degrees Fahrenheit. Fahrenheit. Okay, Celsius, 85 to 96 degrees Celsius. The F, 205 degrees, F is Fahrenheit, and C is Celsius. Okay, 85 to 96 degrees Celsius. Okay, simmering. Simmering is a low, slow boil intended for a longer cooking time to maintain taste. Simmering takes longer. Low and slow. Okay, simmering is slow. S, S. Simmer, slow. S. Remember. Okay, simmering is a way to make fork tender foods. Fork tender foods, what is that? Well, you take a fork and you can easily tear apart food. It's so tender, it's so soft, the fork can tear apart whatever food you're talking, meat, whatever. Fork tender foods, enhancing, improving, increasing the flavor of what you cook by gently allowing everything to cook together. You should not see many bubbles when simmering, okay? And remember covering the pot. Remember this, okay? You should not see many bubbles when you're simmering something. Remember, when you cover the pot, it quickly increases the temperature to a boiling. Okay, so if you're trying to simmer something, don't cover it. Look at the picture here, boiling and simmer. Okay, not the red stuff, not the yellow stuff, curry, not the boiling in the little pan. The boiling is lots of bubbles. Simmering is slow bubbles. Low bubbles. Okay, maybe. Okay, next. What you got? Boiling, you got simmering. Okay, next. What's next? Poaching. Poaching. Maybe you heard of Africa. People poaching elephants for their ivory. Tusks. Okay, poaching. Same word here, different meaning. Poaching can be killing different animals for their whatever. Poaching is killing animals illegally, but here poaching is a type of cooking. Poaching is very low. Poaching is done at a lower temperature than boiling, and it cooks. Poaching cooks food very slowly, but more evenly, providing much smoother texture of food. Okay, 3 moist heat methods of cooking are boiling, simmering, and poaching. But poaching, look at the blue, look in the blue. Poaching uses the lowest heat. Poaching is low heat. Boiling is the hot. Boiling, oh, hot, hottest. Simmering is middle heat. Simmer, simmer, middle, I. Look at the red. In the red, disadvantages of poaching includes lost nutrients into the cooking water or the cooking liquid, whatever the food is cooking in. So many of the nutrients it's lost into the water. Many people, most often after cooking something, you just throw away the water, throw away the liquid. Well, there goes your vitamins and nutrients. The last in the red, longer, slower cooking requires patience. Slower cooking requires patience. No browning causes less appetizing tastes. Okay, when you're poaching, look at the pictures. Look at the pictures of the meat. You don't get that brown, you don't get that golden brown look of the meat. Okay, the fish, the chicken. Here's two pictures of chicken. Is that chicken or is ham? I'm not sure. Well, the chicken, it doesn't get that golden brown. Okay. No browning. Okay. Less appetizing due to the chemical. No chemical. Maillard reaction in the food. What is Maillard reaction? You gotta know this. I'm sure there's one professor going to ask you this, not me. Maillard reaction. What is Maillard reaction? Well, the chemical reaction of cooking, browning. The eggs. Look at the eggs in the pot. Poached eggs are most common. Poaching cooking is most common with eggs. Okay, many people like poached eggs. The water is not boiled; just heat it very low. It takes longer. Poached eggs and toast. I never liked it. Okay. Again, once what? So, look at this again. Boiling, simmering, and poaching. Boiling is fast, bubble, 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 bubbles. Simmering is slow, slow. And poaching is low, low, almost no bubbles. Okay. Boiling is fast, simmering slow, poaching is low heat, no bubbles. Okay, in the yellow, that's called, well, when you're doing this, okay, that's called word association to help learning. Okay, whenever you're studying something, whenever you study anything, try to associate it. It helps remember, associate words with the words you're trying to study. Okay, word association. Okay, Next. Steaming. Steaming is, what is steaming? Steaming is hello. Yeah, okay, I'm here. Thought we had a malfunction. Okay. Steaming. Steaming is another moist heat cooking method. With steaming, the food is kept separate from the boiling water. Okay, the food is not in the boiling water. Okay, the steam rises from the water. Okay, check this out. No, actually this. The steam rises up to cook the mandu. Okay, the steam is under here. Okay, the food is up here, not in. Also, the drainer, the metal drainer, can be used for steam cooking. Okay, the food never the broccoli. The food never touches the water. It's the steam that cooks. The hot steam cooks the food. Whatever food. Okay. Water boils at 212 degrees Fahrenheit. So the temperature the food cooks at is 212 degrees Fahrenheit. Steam cooking doesn't agitate food. Agitate. What is agitate? Well, anger. The food just lays there. In boiling water, the food is just wiggling all around, moving all around. The bubbles of the boiling water will move the food around. It agitates. Boiling agitates food. But steaming here, well, the food just sits there. The steam goes up past the food and, well, cooks the food. So steaming is a gentle way to cook delicate items like fish and seafood. I've never cooked fish by steaming. But often crabs. Alaskan crab is usually cooked by steam. Best of all, steaming keeps nutrients inside the food. Okay, yes, the food never touches the boiling water, so the nutrients and vitamins stay in the food. Haha, good idea. Okay, steaming. Remember, steaming helps keep nutrients inside the food. That is a good exam question. Yes. Okay, steaming keeps nutrients and vitamins in the food. Why? Because the food is not in the water. So the nutrients, vitamins, have no place to go. Okay, next. Baking. Baking is a dry heat cooking. Baking is a dry heat cooking that's done in an enclosed space, such as in an oven. Okay, baking is usually not over a direct flame, over a direct fire. Okay, that's different. Okay, baking is not over a direct fire. Ovens may look different, but all baking involves chemically the same 9 stages. Okay, yes, there are stages of baking. Okay, no, this is not a test question. This is too far. Okay, this is just basic English. Okay, but the 9 stages of baking: gases form, gases are trapped in the food, starches gelatinize, proteins coagulate, fats melt, water evaporates, dry water escapes, water evaporates, sugars caramelize, that's what makes the cookies rise, that's what makes the cake rise, the sugars caramelize. Carryover baking and stalling, type of, okay, the 9 stages of baking, it's here, but it's not on my test, not on my exam, okay, no. Type of oven, the type of oven you use is also different, may also be different. 2 types of baking ovens: conventional, convection. Okay, that's an easy exam question. 2 types of baking ovens: conventional or convection. Conventional oven cooks food by surrounding the food with hot air. Convection ovens circulate the air. Okay, convection ovens circulate the air, and convection ovens require an adjustment to temperature, maybe a little bit higher, and longer baking time. Longer, shorter, depends on what you're baking. Yeah, okay. Baking often changes the form of food. Okay, think of cookies. When you put them in the oven, well, they got this little blob of dough. But when they come out, well, they're nice round little things. Think of cakes. When you put a cake in the oven to bake it, well, it just looks like liquid. But when it comes out, well, it's a cake. Same thing with here, biscuits maybe, or cupcakes maybe. Okay, before baking, it's a kind of liquid. After baking, well, it's a cookie, it's a cake. Baking often changes the form of food. Okay, cakes change the form, cookies change the form. Okay, no, not everything, but baking often does. Da, 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 da. Okay, baking. Tommy, next. Roasting. What is roasting? Roasting is also a form of cooking with hot, dry heat. Okay. Roasting is a form of cooking with hot, dry air. The main difference of baking and roasting is the temperature. Okay. The main difference of baking and roasting is the temperature. The temperature. Okay. Roasting is done, well, here. Roasting is done at a much higher heat. Okay, roasting, much higher heat than baking. Okay, roasting gives more color on your food than baking. Yes, looky here. Okay, baking, roasting. Well, here's the roasting. It's got a darker. Okay, usually. A little looks like slightly almost starting to burn of color, but no. Okay. Roasting gives more color than baking. Okay. This is a good slide for exam questions. Yes. It's a cooking method that will result in softer centers and crispier, dark golden outsides. Roasting is soft centers, crispier, dark and golden outsides. Okay, outsides, the skin, I mean. Okay, a roast chicken, for example, is often cooked at around 425 degrees Fahrenheit. Okay, roast chicken is much higher temperature and comes out of the oven with juicy meat that's falling off the bone with crisp golden skin on the outside. Okay, the meat is falling off the bone, the skin like crisp golden. Okay, here that's why I don't know if you ever had Thanksgiving dinner. Thanksgiving dinner in America. Americans always cook the Thanksgiving holiday turkey in the oven. Why? Well, if it's done right, if you roast, it's actually roast. If you roast the turkey in the oven correctly, if it's done right, the meat actually falls off the bones. Okay? After the turkey's done, the turkey takes about hours. I mean like 3, 4, 5, it depends. Okay? But the meat of the turkey will just fall off the bone. Have you ever heard of a pulled meat sandwich? Well, the pulled meat was probably roasted. Okay? The pulled meat, it just pulls right off the bone. You don't have to, no, it just like falls off the bone. That's pulled meat. Pork. I don't know, pork meat. Pulled meat. Okay? Pulled pork sandwich. Yes. Ah, mashy-san. Okay, next one. What's the next one? Broiling. Okay, what is broiling? Broiling is another dry heat cooking method that uses heat from above. Okay, here, broiling. Where's the heat? The heat is above the food. Okay, here, broiling a roast. I don't know. Where's the heat? Where's the flame? The flame is above the food. Broiling is the flame is above the food. Okay. Well, here's kind of different. Okay, there is several types of broiling. Okay, this is usually in hamburger restaurants, flame broiled. So, but at home, broiling. If you have an oven, shoot. Okay, here, this is an oven. This is the actual oven here. But you often have a drawer down here. Okay, this will be the broiler. Okay, this is the broiler. This is the overall oven. Up here you bake cakes, bake cupcakes, whatever. But down here is the broiler. The fire would be right here. Down here is the broiler. Okay. Yeah, maybe. This is the broiler. Okay. Okay. Broiling produces its flavors by cooking the fat. This is what gives that smoky flavor. Well, if you're talking about the hamburgers, flame broiled hamburgers. If the meat is too lean, here's a cooking idea for you. If the meat is too lean, not much fat in the meat, well, lightly brush oil, vegetable oil, vegetable oil on the meat here. But not, okay, if there's not much fat in the meat, lightly brush the meat with oil, but not olive oil. Why? Olive oil has a low smoke temperature point. Okay, you will get too much smoke. Possibly it could start fire. Yes. Do not use olive oil for broiling. Okay. Okay. Yeah, you can see how much smoke you usually get. Okay. It's burning off. The broiler is burning off the fat of the meat in the meat. Okay. Okay. And the fat drips down into the fire, well, it causes the smoke, more smoke. Okay. Okay. What's next? Grilling. Okay, grilling. Food is broiled when the heat is above. Broiled, the heat is above. Here, broil, the heat is above. Okay. Grilling, cooking method of dry heat. The grilling, the heat is below, under the food. Okay. You grill, the flame, the heat is below the food. Okay. Grill, the heat is below the food. Okay. Dry heat from below, under the food. Well, kind of try and remember that. If you're grilling, the heat is below. If you're broiling, the heat is above. Okay? Grilling. There are two types of grilling. Direct fire. Indirect, split fire. Okay, indirect fire. Direct fire. Okay, grilling, yes. Grilling is an outside thing, right? You're usually grilling outside the house. This arrangement, okay, direct fire. This arrangement uses the coal spread evenly in the grill for super hot. One zone grilling. One zone grilling. Well, you got the grill. Look at the grill here. Well, the coals, the fire are under all of the food. It's usually one big, actually this is not a good picture, maybe. One zone grilling, all the coals are in even under the food, okay? Direct fire is good arrangement for large quantities of food like steaks and hamburgers and hot dogs. Okay, this is the more common. This is the more common grilling. You think about a lot of Americans, they like to grill. Well, most people do this. The majority, most people do this type of grilling. One big heat. Okay, but indirect split fire. Indirect fire. Well, you can have a 2-zone, you can have a 3-zone split fire. Okay, 2-zone, all the coals are loaded up on one end of the grill. Chicken thighs and legs cook well in this arrangement. Okay, 3-zone fire. Coals are together on the back of the grill and against the side. This leaves the middle empty for cooking pork roast and smaller roasts. Okay, think of, okay, in the inside under this grill you have a lot of charcoal, right? You have a lot of coal, the coal briquettes, the small coal black briquettes. Well, they're arranged in, you can arrange them in like an L shape for different cooking methods, basically. Well, indirect and direct. Direct fire or indirect fire. Indirect fire, the fire would be over here, the meat would be cooking over here. Indirect. Okay, indirect. Over here's the food, but over here's the fire. Whereas this is direct fire. Direct fire. The meat is right over the fire. Okay, almost burning them. Well, no, but this direct heat you have to constantly turn it over. Okay, this is more, you have to maintain. You have to constantly turn the meat. Whereas this indirect, well, you can sit the meat over here and walk away, come back 5 minutes later. How well is it cooked yet? Okay. And here's another cedar plank grilling. That's cedar plank grilling. Okay. Cedar plank grilling, soak a cedar, this is wood. Soak a cedar plank of wood before grilling for extra taste. You get that smoky wood taste in the food. In here it has, like in the fish, you will actually get like a wooden, the cedar. Oh, it tastes good. Okay, you get an extra taste of steak or fish when you do this cedar plank grilling. Okay, the grilling, the plank is actually put over, more or less like indirect fire. Okay, of course, can't put the fire right under the wood. You're just going to burn the wood, right? Okay. Cedar plank grilling. I don't know. Okay, next. Oh, okay. Grilling and barbecuing. Aha, what's barbecuing? This is barbecuing. Okay, back again. Grilling and barbecuing are not not the same. Okay. Yes, grilling is done outside. Yes, barbecuing is done outside, but different. Grilling and barbecuing are not the same. Okay. We did grilling. Okay. Okay. Here again. Grilling. Grilling is the dry. Okay. Depends on how you want to do your grilling. Okay. Direct fire or indirect fire. But barbecuing. Okay. Direct fire, indirect fire. Grilling is done quicker, faster, whereas barbecuing, grilling is a high direct heat. The food cooking is directly above the heat. But okay, grilling is more suited to small, natural meats, smaller cuts of meats. Grilling is steaks, pork chops, chicken breast, seafood. Okay, grilling is high, direct heat, but barbecuing is low and slow, indirect heat. Okay, grilling, barbecuing, not the same. Grilling is much faster. Barbecuing is low and slow. Okay. Uh, the heat source cooks meat indirectly. Okay, barbecuing is pretty much always indirect fire. Okay, check this out. Okay, this is barbecuing. This is more barbecuing. Check out where all the barbecue, the coal. Where is the coal placed? Okay, or maybe where the meat. Let's stay with here. Okay, look at where all the charcoal. Look where the coal, look where the fire is going to be. You put the grill above here, well, the meat is going to cook over here, not here. Okay, check this out. Look at this. This is the fire. The meat is not on top. The meat is not above the fire. This is indirect fire. You can call this grilling if you want, but because it's like indirect heat, this is probably more barbecuing. It takes longer. Barbecuing is slower. Barbecuing is slower. Okay. The heat source, the fire cooks the meat indirectly, not over. Okay. Not above, meaning the coals are either far above. Okay. The coals are far below or to the side of the meat. Okay, here it is. Barbecuing. This is barbecue. This is more barbecuing. Okay. Oh, and barbecuing. Barbecuing, the lid, the top of the grill is usually closed. Okay, large, tough cuts of meat. Large pieces of cuts. Large, tough pieces of meat are more for barbecuing, low and slow. Barbecuing is longer, slower heat. Barbecuing meats, including, barbecuing is usually pork, shoulders, brisket, ribs, maybe thicker steaks, thicker steak meats. Okay, this is more barbecuing. This is barbecuing, indirect heat, barbecuing. Okay, and this is indirect barbecuing. Okay, barbecuing takes longer, slow heat, indirect heat. Okay, okay. Hopefully, Tashi. Grilling and barbecuing, not the same. Grilling is faster. Barbecuing slower. Next, sauteing. What is sauteing? Sauteing, another dry heat method of cooking. Food uses a small amount of oil or fat in a shallow pan. Okay. not much oil. You can hardly see any oil. Okay, where's the oil? Not much. Okay, very low, very little oil. Okay, sauteing food is quick cooking, so the food must be smaller and tender. Sauteing, smaller pieces of food. Okay, the food must be smaller and tender enough so the center is done by the time the outside is browned. Okay. Most tender meat can be sauteed as long as it is kept to small pieces. Yes, you can saute beef, small piece. Yeah, is this beef? Maybe. I don't know. But sauteing, you usually have to keep turning it also. Okay. And yes, vegetables are usually sauteed. Onions, garlic, usually sauteed. Especially the more tender vegetables. Tender vegetables, green beans, asparagus, mushrooms, zucchini, peppers, onions, celery, maybe. Harder root vegetables, potatoes. Potatoes come from roots. Potatoes are roots. Need to be cut smaller if you're going to try to saute. Potatoes are usually not sauteed. Okay. Helpful tip: a pinch of baking soda. A pinch. A pinch is just this much between your fingers. Okay, kind of. You just put that in with the vegetables, whatever. Okay, just a pinch of baking soda, just a pinch of baking flour. Helpful for the browning. Close the door. Sauteing takes practice, though. Sauteing takes practice. Okay. Pan frying. Pan frying. Pan frying. Cooking in oil to get that brown, crispy, crunchy outside. Okay. Pan frying. Well, this is the frying stuff. Frying oil. You got more. Okay. Pan frying differs from sauteing, and then that you always allow the food to sizzle. Sizzle, all those little bubbles, all those little bubbles. See all those little bubbles, all the little bubbles, kind of. That means you let it hang out in the hot pan instead of constantly stirring. Okay, you just let the food just sit there in the sizzling oil. Okay, you always use more oil with pan frying. Pan frying uses more oil, about a ½ inch, maybe. Depends what you're cooking. I don't like that ½ inch thing, but you see a ½ inch of oil? No, I don't like greasy food. You put ½ inch of oil in your pan, too much greasy, too oily. Shallow frying, a little bit of oil. Pan frying and deep frying are nearly the same, only depends on how much oil. Okay, again, shallow frying, pan frying, and deep frying. It's nearly the same, but depends how much oil you are using. Okay, deep frying. This is deep frying. Okay, this is shallow frying. This is pan frying. This is deep frying. Lots of oil. Kind of a lot of oil. Shallow, well, not much oil. Okay. Shallow frying, pan frying, deep frying. What's the difference? Depends on how much oil you're using. That is a good exam question. Good exam question. What's the difference between shallow frying, pan frying, and deep frying? Well, how much oil you use. Shallow frying uses less oil than pan frying. Deep frying has food completely in the oil. Okay? Completely immersed means completely in the water. Completely in the oil. Okay? Uh, okay? Pan frying. Got it? Shallow frying, pan frying, deep frying. Only depends on how much oil you use. Okay. Next. Huele. Huele. This is, again, French language. Okay. Cook the particular white meat in its own juices. Okay. You're cooking the meat, usually white meat, in its own juices. The water actually from the meat will run out and help to cook whatever you're cooking. First, steam up the meat in a covered pan using very little water or butter. After all the liquid is gone, dry cook or fry the meat. After the liquid is gone, you're dry cooking. You're actually frying the meat in its own juices to a light brown color. This is a good example. This is kind of a good example. This is still, well, you're still steaming. You're still steaming. This is next. Okay. After the steaming is done, you start frying. Huele is steam and then fry. Okay. First you steam, then you dry cook, fry the meat. Okay. Also, butter, roasting the ingredients with several herbs or aromatic smells. Ooh, that's where you get this. What's cooking, Mom? Okay, that aromatic steam smell. Oh, I'm hungry. Yeah. Prepare delicious meaty meals of chicken, fish, pork, and beef. Yes. Okay, this is similar to braising. Similar to braising. I think we did braising. Oh, I think it's the reversed. Okay, braising. What's braising? Next. What's braising? Ha! Braising. Braising uses both dry heat cooking and moist heat. First. Oh, haha. Let's do this again. Huele. First the steam. Then you fry. But braising. Braising. First you sear. Lightly burn. First you lightly burn at a high temperature to brown. Okay. Then a small amount of liquid is added. Maybe water, maybe oil, maybe some kind of broth. This beef broth. Okay. First you sear, first you lightly burn, and then you add a little liquid, a little broth. Broth is liquid. Okay. The temperature is turned down. Okay. Once you add the liquid, the temperature is turned down, the fire is turned down, then the meat is allowed to cook longer. Okay. Searing or braising cooks longer amount of time. Okay. Once the initial browning occurs, the food's flavor is intensified. When the liquid is added, the broth, liquid, water, broth, whatever, all that heat, moisture, cooking time breaks down the tissues, the meat. Okay, softens the meat's fiber. Okay. Similar to braising, only the order is reversed. Okay. Braising, first the food is lightly burnt. Second, okay, the liquid is added. Okay. Okay. Huele. Again. Okay. Huele. First the steam, and then frying. Braising, first burning, lightly burn. Okay. Then the liquid is added and the meat cooks for a longer time. Okay. Braising is very similar. It's just the frying and the steaming is reversed. Okay. Okay. Next, stewing. Stewing. What is stewing? Stewing. Also cooking with both dry and wet heat, but stewing has smaller chunks. Okay. Stewing, smaller chunks of meat. Check it out. Look at the small pieces, chunks, small pieces, small chunks, small pieces, small chunks of meat. When stewing, you add plenty of water, plenty of broth, plenty of whatever liquid you're using. Okay, and you cook plenty of water or sauce or broth and cover the ingredients so to make sure you don't dry out the food until it's cooked. Okay, check out the lid. Check out the lid. This is the crock pot. Crock pots are good for stewing. Okay, this, you gotta have a lid on it. Okay, stewing always has a lid. A lid. A lid. Okay, stewing always has a lid because it takes longer. The cooking time, okay, the normal, shorter than normal braising. Yeah, braising, okay. Because the size of the main ingredient is smaller than that of braising. Braising is bigger meat. Compare the meat chunk size in braising and poléing. I don't want to go there. Just remember, stewing is usually longer. Real stewing is longer and smaller chunks of meat. I used to make potatoes and ham. Cut up the ham in real small chunks. Put in carrots. Put in celery. Put in potatoes, green or red potatoes. The small red potatoes. Okay. Let it cook. Let it cook for hours. Okay, hours. I mean like 6, 7, 8 hours. Stewing. Maybe this is. I don't like this. I don't like this. Okay, stewing is the slow cookers. Crock pots are stewing. Crock pots are longer cooking. Okay, Okay, but compare the meat chunks. Okay, the meat size. Okay. And okay. Yeah. Good. Perfect. Homework and attendance. Okay, this is your homework. This is your attendance. Tell me your favorite song or your favorite singer. Okay, just something short and easy. This is your attendance points. Do you want your attendance points? Tell me your favorite song or your favorite singer. Example, my favorite song is blah 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 blah. My favorite singer is blah 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 blah. Okay. My favorite song is Amazing Grace, Amazing Grace, how great. My favorite singer is John Denver, Colorado Mountain High, Rocky Mountain High. Oh, yeah. This is your attendance points. Okay, send me email, just one short sentence. Okay, one short sentence is your homework and is your attendance points for this video. Any questions? Send me in this email. Okay, I'm happy. Are you happy? Good.